This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, it is now 6:32. I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Steve, I'm gonna go over the guidelines first.
Go ahead.
Thank you for joining the City of Kingston's Common Council at our Community Development Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 28th. My name is Andrea Schott, the Council President and organizer for our virtual meetings. Before we begin our meeting, we would like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help us navigate the system as efficiently and as respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As organizer, I've reserved the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Council members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a council member or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hands. The chairperson will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website at a later date. Although we will not have public speaking tonight, you could submit written comments to the City of Kingston Clerk, Elisa Tinty, at emtinty@kingston-ny.gov, or by dropping them off at the drop box located outside the side door of City Hall. We also encourage you to reach out to committee chairs or your ward's representative at any time. If you have any audio issues, send a text message to the following number, 845-594-6120. I'll repeat this number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number to text is 845-594-6120. As the organizer for tonight's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately. A note to advisory council members. Even though this is an official council committee meeting, if an advisory council member has a comment, the chair can choose to recognize you if you raise your hand. The vote is for council members only. Lastly, at tonight's meeting, we have in attendance Chair Alderman Steve Shabbat, committee members Alderwoman Rita Worthington, Alderman Jeffrey Ventura Morel, Alderman Doug Coop, Alderman Don Tollerman, non-voting council members, Alderman Rennie Scott Childress, city staff, we have Brenna Robinson, Mandy Brook, and Amy Peterson. Thank you for your patience during these difficult times, and on behalf of the Common Council, I wish you and your family good health. I now turn the floor over to Chair Shabbat.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Welcome, everybody. We've already called the meeting to order, and I hope everybody is in good health. Everybody's safe. Everybody's family safe, I hope. Having said that, I miss seeing you all live, but sooner or later we'll get there. So we will move on. I hope everybody has had a chance to read the minutes from our last meeting. If so, if there is discussion, raise your hand if you have any comments, questions, alterations to the minutes. Otherwise, I will accept a motion to approve them.
Motion.
Doug, are you making a motion?
Yes.
You're on mute,
Second.
Doug. Okay.
Second, Steve.
Motion's
All
been
right.
made by
Okay.
Jeffrey, so I
We have a
guess I will second.
Okay. I couldn't tell you. You were on mute, Doug. I couldn't tell what you were saying. Okay. So we had a motion by Jeffrey, second by Rita. All right. Thank you very much. Brenna, are you taking the reins now?
I can if you'd like. Yeah, that would be fine. Are you all set?
I think we're good.
Okay. So has everyone had a chance to look at the mayor's communication and his recommendations for the CDBG allocations? So your task tonight is to either accept them as they've been submitted or have a discussion about any potential changes you'd like to make. And I will, like we did at our advisory board meeting, I'll keep track of them in a spreadsheet and let you know if you make any changes, what you have to do to come into balance again. So I'll open the floor to your discussion or motions.
Okay.
Jeffrey's raising his hand. Do you want me to?
Who's recognizing, me or you, Brenna?
That's up to you.
All right, Jeffrey, go ahead.
Okay, Jeffrey Ventura Morel here.
Jeffrey.
Yes, we received a communication from People's Place regarding the bag holiday program, and I recognize the tremendous need that they're fulfilling right now, and because there are some other programs that may not be able to run for a while, or at least not run at full capacity, I would advocate for us to, we're very close to giving them their full funding. I would advocate for us to look for those extra $900 and give them their full $7,000 ask. I know $900 doesn't seem like a lot of money, but that could, given the scope of their program, that could feed several families for quite a while.
Brenna Robinson?
Yes, thank you. So Jeffrey, I totally agree that People's Places is doing heroic work and that they need the support. I would just suggest to you that you consider that this new funding that we're getting, they are fully qualified and eligible to apply for that funding, and probably very competitive, in my opinion, based on your priorities and the mayor's priorities and the community's priorities. So I would suggest that some of these other projects or programs would not be eligible for this new funding, because the new funding needs to be directly addressing the harms and damage caused by, the COVID-19 crisis. So some of these others may not qualify, and if you take funding from our regular CDBG source, they may not be able to make up that difference with the new funding or other funding, whereas People's Place, I can almost guarantee they would. So just for you to consider.
Okay, well, in that case, then I don't have anything else to to
I
change.
certainly don't want to make little
Yeah,
of
I
your
mean,
comment. I just want you to be aware of what resources are available to you.
Thank you.
I agree with Jeffrey. I mean, we should certainly be looking at that, but I'm very hopeful that the new money that we have they're gonna get a share of that. So I think that will work itself out. Anybody else have any comments? I mean, I really didn't see much that jumped out at me. I don't really have any big issues with the changes that were made. I thought they were, small changes, if any. Changes are probably with agencies that are maybe going through some tough times right now. So, I really don't have any issues with the changes. So, Coop?
Yeah, I don't have any issues either. I just have a question. What's behind the walk-in cooler changes? What happened there? I just want to understand how that came to be.
I believe that they got a tighter quote, and so this number is more accurate.
In other words, they got quotes that were far in excess of what they anticipated, and so they decided to scrap it. Is that my understanding?
I don't think they're scrapping it. They're just asking for less money.
Sorry, just what?
They're not scrapping it. They're just asking for less money.
Oh, so they got quotes in that were less than what they anticipated. In other words, they're still going forward with the walk-in cooler.
Yes,
And they found out it's going to cost them less money than they thought, therefore they're asking for less money.
that's my understanding from what the mayor said after speaking with Michael Berg.
Okay, well, all right. That wasn't clear to me. Okay. So it's still something they're going to do.
Yes.
Unfortunately, quotes have come in less than anticipated. Okay.
Steve Rita had.
We don't see that too often. That's a good thing.
No.
Steve Rita
Oh,
had her
I'm
hand
sorry,
up.
Rita, I didn't see your hand up. Rita Worthington?
Hi, Rita Worthington.
Okay, Rita Worthington.
I was just going to say, I took a look at the mayor's recommendations. I actually agree with the recommendations that he put forth. I thought they looked good. We was able to get the extra funding, and he was able to actually give some of the projects and programs a little bit more than what we had given them. So I like his recommendations. That might be a first for me, but I like them. Especially
Okay,
in
anyone
light that
else?
we have the new COVID funding. Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion of that? Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we accept the changes. Motion by Jeffrey. Second by Doug Coop. All in favor? You got to give me a thumbs up or something.
Don, we need you back for the vote.
Aye.
Thank you.
We're done now. Aye, okay. Is anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Brenna,
That's all I
are you
have
back on?
tonight. So unless there's anything else you'd like to discuss.
What? Jeffrey Morel.
Hi, Jeffrey Morel here. I had a question for Brenna. Do we know what the process is going to be for dispersing the new funding we received?
Yes, it's going to be almost exactly the same as this, except on a condensed timeline. So I spoke with the mayor and Andrea earlier today. We're going to extend the deadline to next Wednesday rather than this Friday. This evening or this morning, if I can't get to it this evening, I'm going to put up a frequently asked questions document online on the homepage and also on the community development webpage, so that some of the questions that have come in, everybody can see the answers to. And one of which is what's the process, who's reviewing, and what's the timeline. So the applications will be due on May 6th. I and Amy will review them for eligibility and completeness and turn them around to the mayor and the full council by May 13th. And then the mayor will have, I've asked him if he could turn around a late communication to Andrea for May 26th. Wait, is that 7? Yeah, 7 days. So
May
it's
20th.
almost a week. May 20th, I'm sorry. And then May 20th. So you'll have from May 20th until May 26th for the next Community Development Committee meeting. And you'll have the mayor's recommendations in the interim and all of the questions answered online. And so you will vote at the committee level on May 26th. On May 27th, there will be a shortened by HUD's guidelines, a 5-day public comment period. And we will then, the Monday before your common council meeting, have a virtual public hearing. And then if any comments are received in that 5-day period or at that public hearing, I will compile them and send them to Andrea, who will then dispense them to the council for your consideration that Tuesday night. So then the full council will vote on the June meeting. And I will immediately amend our 2019 annual action plan. That will allow us to use the funds right away rather than including it with the 2020 funds that you just voted on tonight. So I do a substantial amendment, send it to the HUD regional office for review. They've promised an expedited review and turnaround of a contract. And so we'll be able to get the funding moving. I don't have a date because it's HUD, but but much more quickly than with this regular process, our traditional process that we use. But that being said, we are still engaging the public according to HUD regulations, meeting all of our program requirements, and just expediting the use of these emergency funds.
And will it be divided the same way, projects, programs, and then the 20% for admin?
So we have to cap our admin at 20%, yes. The 15% public services has been not entirely waived, but we have more room to wiggle with that 15%. Obviously, because a lot of the emergency response to this is going to be program related, less for us, certainly less infrastructure, although we might have to do some public facilities improvements still, but it's more going to be about services to the residents of the city. So we can, and we also now have what's called a neighborhood revitalization strategy area. So this next round of funding, we can, as long as it's focused in the 9520 and 9521 census tracts in Midtown, we can exceed the 15% from now on with our regular traditional round two.
Amy Peterson has a question. So Amy?
Brenna, can you hear me?
Yes.
What time on Wednesday is the deadline?
It will be 4:30. It was 4:30 this Friday, this Wednesday,
Right.
and the following Wednesday it'll be 4:30 as well.
Okay, so I'm going over the timeline. So you and I will receive them starting on Thursday, April 7th, and it goes to the council on the 13th or to the mayor. Can you go over that schedule again for me?
Because we're not at City Hall and we can't accept hard copy applications, we've asked that they all be emailed to me.
Right.
So once I get them all in, you and I will go through and make sure that they're complete. And that both the organizations are eligible, or the groups or the business is eligible, and their activities are eligible under the regular but slightly amended CDBG rules and regulations. And we will turn them around to the mayor and the common council by the 13th.
Okay, now is that the council at large, or just the council committee, the community development committee?
The whole council, because it's a condensed timeline. Sharing it with the whole council will expedite their questions and getting answers to them and clarifying why the Community Development Committee would make the recommendations to the full council, just to get everybody on board as quickly as possible to expedite the decisions.
Okay, will we do the questions, we receive the questions to send to the applicants as we do for the normal annual entitlement?
Yeah, they'll have to do it in a shorter timeline. We won't have weeks and weeks to do it.
Okay. All right, I just need that for my minutes. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to comment on Brenna's remarks, that the application process is going to be condensed, as Brenna says, but that doesn't mean they don't have to provide us with documentation that they need the money. They can't just come in, hey, this has been a tough season, I could use a couple $1,000. They have to document it, just like before. So, that will be part of the application process.
Right, can I expand on that?
Brenna? Sure.
So that's absolutely correct. We still have to follow CDBG rules and regulations. The primary one being that 70% or more of this funding has to serve low to moderate income residents of the city. So We have to ensure that they're serving the people most in need right now and all the time. And still have to make sure that they have a DUNS number, and we still have to make sure that they're, in good standing and various criteria. So just like our regular CDBG application, just a little easier to complete. Like Steve said, they still have to make sure that they're going through the regular process just on a shortened timeline.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Another question.
This is Amy Peterson.
Go ahead, Amy.
So on the 26th of the regular CDBG meeting, Brenna, that will be deliberated, and then the final vote will be the June meeting with the council at large.
Yes, it'll go to the May 26th committee meeting. The committee will make its recommendations to the full council that will vote on it at the June meeting, which is June
2nd.
June 2nd. When will the funding be available? June 3rd?
No, we still need HUD's approval, but the guidelines that I've received have said that the regional office is prepared to do a very expedited turnaround for its approval. So I don't have an exact date because it just depends on where we fall in the queue for their review. But it's not going to be months and months like our regular allocation is often.
Okay, and is this a reimbursement?
No, that's a good question. So because of the dire straits that a lot of the organizations are going to be in and are right now, we're going to do a third upfront. So they get all of their documentation in and we say, okay, it's okay for you to start your activities. They ask us for a third upfront. They'll voucher for that. And so we're going to give them an advance. They're going to do their work and demonstrate how they spent that first third. And then we'll give them the second third, and the same for the third third. But for 2020 awardees, in their agreements, we are going to state that if they do not provide everything that we need to close out the activities with HUD, that we're going to withhold some or all of their 2020 award. And for non-2020 awardees, we're going to hold a 10% retainage.
Okay.
Was that clear?
We'll probably have to call you tomorrow to clarify my notes some more. Sorry.
Anyone else? Any further questions? Comments? Are we done with this topic? Sounds like we have exhausted this. I
have nothing else unless you have new business.
I think that's
or announcements. Then I'm good. Thank you very much.
Are any
I think that is it, right?
I think Amy wants to speak. Amy Peterson?
Are any community members, advisory board members here tonight?
There is a second caller, but I don't know who it is. That's the only additional person that I don't recognize.
Okay.
Caller 2, if you serve on the advisory council and you want to unmute yourself and have a comment, you are more than welcome to. If not, if you're a public, then thank you for remaining muted. I think we're good, Amy. I don't think there's anybody who didn't get to comment who wanted to, if that's what you were looking for. Yep.
Okay. I just want to make a comment here. This is my first time being chair of this committee, and I really want to thank everybody. It's one of those thankless tasks, and it's really, I don't think anybody realizes how tough it is, to divvy up money. You think you're going to be looked at as a good guy, for giving some money, but It's never enough. So I think everybody's grateful, to get what they did. I thought we were good. I think Doug come up with a good idea to disperse the money. I thank him for that. I think we all had some ideas how to do it, but that seemed to cut right to the quick. And I thought we got it accomplished pretty quickly. And the mayor's changes came back, without any big changes. So the process was really smooth. I appreciate everybody's work. Jeffrey Morel.
Yeah, I also wanted to expand on what you just said and also thank the applicants for all the work they do. Now more than ever, we're seeing what great work and how necessary they are to our city. So I just want to, if any of them are listening, to thank them for everything they do.
Okay, anybody else have anything to add? Anything else for the good of the order? I think that is it.
Thank you,
Motion
Brenna.
to adjourn. Anybody want to
So
second that
moved.
motion? Okay. All right, thank you. Motion by Doug, second by Jeffrey Morel. We are closed. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Andrea, for taking the time to set this all up. Thanks, Brenna, for guiding us along, explaining all the new things. Thank you. Everybody worked very smoothly.
Thank you, Andy.
Good job. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Everybody have a good night. Stay safe.